What's up? What's up? Everybody jumping in. Thank you guys. All right. So we're going to get started here in a couple minutes. We're going to try to start a little closer to on time. So as everybody starts rolling in, I don't want to leave everybody behind, but at the same point, I don't want to waste 5 minutes of everyone's time. So we're going to start knocking things out, starting a little bit more on time rather than I think 5 minutes after is kind of where we've sat inside the past. So some changes as we get rolling, and we'll get started here in a minute. We're going to be talking about ultimately the buyer-seller disconnect and why ultimately generic roof proposals don't work. So there's one thing to be able to have a unique proposal that separates yourself from everybody else. But if it doesn't connect into their pain, their problem, or the goal they're trying to achieve, it doesn't make it easier for them to make a decision. So we're going to go through some of that today. And then we're going to end today with learning a little bit about the workspace, on how you take everything that we're getting, putting that into a workspace and making something unique. So a couple minutes here, we'll get rolling, guys. David.
Yeah.
Nice of you to join us.
Yep. I'm excited.
What's going on, man?
Hope everybody is through their mourning period of me not being here last time. And the emotional difficulty that you guys had with that. I do apologize. With great power comes great responsibility. I think Spider-Man's uncle said, is that right?
That would be Uncle Ben, right?
Right. That's right.
Yeah. Me and Uncle Ben go way back.
One heck of a cheddar broccoli rice at the same time, that Uncle Ben. Multifaceted and multi-talented.
Amen to that. Amen to that. All right, cool. So we got some people rolling in. Thank you guys for joining. Yeah, this is going to be cool. So a couple things that we're going to work through if you're just joining in. So we're going to talk about why generic proposals don't work, and ultimately why I'll say 99% of the proposals that are being delivered only sell your product. It doesn't push the client to be able to get them closer to their goal, or doesn't create clarity and confidence inside how we do that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. A little bit unique. We're going to end with the workspace, getting you guys into the workspace so you can see a little bit more what it's about, and really bridging that gap between you're a roofing contractor trying to sell a service, a product, or something along that side, and then you're a consumer that just wants your problem fixed, but you have all these people trying to sell stuff to you that either A, you don't understand, or B, it doesn't get you to where you really want to be. I can't tell you how many times I've went into a situation and you have contractors that are bidding everything from single ply systems to built up systems to foam and liquid applied membranes. And it's like, man, there really is the right roof for each building based upon where it is in the US existing, all that kind of different, stuff that we go through as contractors. How do we get them the best product based upon their goals? Because that's really what matters. They're spending money to be able to change their environment. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today.
Yeah, the thing that we're going to reference a few times here, guys, is the fact that just think through the number of times that you guys have met with a prospect and, they gave you some sort of information or some sense of what they did in the past to solve some issue. And you're just sitting there scratching your head like, why the hell did you do that? That was dumb. You're not obviously going to tell them that, but it's just like, why in the world would you allow anybody to come up here and do that? Or why in the world have you been, duct taping this thing for the last 2 years or whatever it is? We're going to reiterate this multiple times, guys. They are doing that stuff that way because they don't know any better. They're bad buyers, the vast majority of our prospects. So that's where our proposals have to be super or hyper clear and hyper targeted towards solving that problem. Like Chad was saying, we give them too much credit, and we need to start looking at them as somebody that we are there to lead through the process and help them get to the other side versus they're making the decision. They know what they want to do. Please pick me. Completely different frame.
100%. And what you mentioned was dead on, right? So like they're bad buyers. That's like 17 webinars in themselves of like, how do you find that perfect client that like proactively buys and values what you do and all this kind of different dream stuff that you hear other contractors talk about, right? It's like, man, I want that client. And the truth is they don't exist.
Yeah.
Because great clients are not born, right? They just don't show up. They just don't all of a sudden buy a business. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to commit to one contractor, do all the preventative items that they request, and I'm just going to trust them.
Yep.
It doesn't happen. And sadly enough, because of how many crappy contractors that are out there, guys, is that your contractor constantly has a shield up, battling like lies and like all the different stuff that's being thrown in their face because they don't even know what's real. And I literally, I'm recording videos. If you guys watch those, the one that I went through is like, YouTube is actually like our worst enemy because the customer at some point can be so in charge with, I don't know if in charge is the right word, but they could have so much information that could be bad or wrong information simply because it's available in Google, it's available in YouTube. It's crazy on how, and even I'm that person, right? That they can get all of this information. You show up and you think you got a confident client prospect that knows what they want. And they're like, yeah, I'm taking bids on a 60 mil EPDM system. I would like it fully adhered with a full tapered system. And you're like, man, this guy knows what he's talking about. But he's really nothing more than a YouTube warrior. So that's what No Reps Left Behind is about, is like battling for the greater good of your client and making sure that you understand, okay, what's the real problem we're dealing with, right? What's the larger issue, which we went through in this series, or what's the goal? Where are you guys trying to get? And just breaking it down, doesn't matter what he tells you, you're still going to go through your same process because that's what success is, guys. If you want to look at success, it's consistency, right? Definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Yep.
Well, the definition of success is doing the same thing and getting the same result. Right? That nice, clear, precise questions that you need to ask that uncover the little details that are going to trigger the client on when, how, or what he buys. So there's some cool stuff. All right, we're going to roll, guys. I truly appreciate it. As I said before, we're going to try to start these a little bit more on time. So if you guys are joining in on whatever stream source it is, we're going to start right at 2:00. I'm not going to try to push 5 minutes after. But at the same point, I didn't want to throw everybody out and you guys be 5 minutes behind. So this is the one-time warning. With that being said, David and I are working on some pretty cool stuff that we're going to start talking about over the next few weeks because this training, right, the 4D sales process is the framework to what you guys are doing in the field. But there's so much more to it, right? When you talk about leadership and you talk about growing and multiplying your best sales reps, that's ultimately what David and I are here to do. This framework is to be able to help, again, raise the floor, which means not necessarily make goals higher that are harder to hit, but to be able to help everybody get to their goal by giving you guys consistent questions to ask, consistent methodology about how you're going after the sales market. So we're going to be sharing some stuff. Keep with it, guys. More on the leadership side. We're going to have a mastermind that's kind of coming out. It's going to be cool. So all that's going to kind of roll out in the next few weeks. And I hope you guys enjoy that as much as you enjoy this stuff. So ready to go, David?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm taking the screen. I know I told you to take the screen, but I'm somewhat confident that I'm not going to mess up. So
love it.
All right. So here we go. All right. My name is Chad Westbrook. I'm the founder of Service Alignment, been in commercial roofing for a little bit less than, I want to say 17, 18 years at this point right now. My niche is specifically in the commercial roofing sector. Even going deeper than that is service. So I love the fact that when a new roof is put on, I got the ability to service it for 20 years. And most of the time, that's where all of my relationships have always been cemented. So when we talk about all the different things that Service Alignment does, the lead development, the sales training, the sales leadership, and even into the service operations, this is why I'm here, guys. I love this part of the business. I love the teamwork and everything that comes out of it. And this is just one way that I'd be able to give back to the industry and have some cool conversations.
Guys, David Bondy, founder of 45. I've been in sales and sales leadership for 15 years. And, you know, those two little girls there and my wife, they're my why. definitely encourage you guys to know your why as well. This stuff is challenging. It can be hard, but it's fun when you've got a reason for it. When the outcomes drive positive benefits and new possibilities for the people that you care most about, like we talked about in the first few sessions. So this is why I spend an absurd amount of time listening to calls, coaching reps, creating strategic plans with large companies so that I'm in the muck, figuring it out, solving the problems so that we can make this stuff easier for you guys, so you guys can then create better outcomes for those that you guys love the most. Thank you for joining us here today.
Yeah, that's awesome. So David, I'm going to connect into it because David made a great point. What's your why inside there? I truly get fulfillment out of building teams. I love putting processes together. I love seeing them work. I love seeing people win. I'm competitive myself, but just in what I've done in my career has always been team building and mentoring. That's my why. I love seeing everything click. I love seeing it work. I love having the conversations of dude, I did it and this is what happened. That's my why. So awesome part. Cool. All right, guys. So I always talk about spreading the word. I'm going to do it again, and we're going to do it at the front side here. So I ask you to share it. I ask you to take some of my videos. If you want to share them on your social media pages, share them to friends, everybody out there. Go ahead, do that. This does not cost you anything for you guys to be able to be here. So whatever platform you're streaming on right now, watching this, thank you, thank you, thank you. Take it, share it. That's my only request, guys. Nothing more, nothing less. Put this to work, give it to somebody who can truly use help inside building their sales process, and even a little bit more about the methodology behind it. All right. So here we go. Slide one, as jumping into it, guys. So 68% of buyers do not want to interact with a salesman at all during their sales process. So this came from LinkedIn. And when you think about this, the process of you guys walking in there and asking, hey, do you have time to meet? Can we sit down inside your office? Can we review the proposal? 68% of individuals, I'm going to say the number's higher because I'm part of the 68. I don't want to sit down with somebody, right? It's no, dude, just text me, let's set up a Zoom. All the kind of different stuff that's changed, I'll say, especially over the last few years. So you guys have to be able to really tread a lot of different communication paths. Okay, so that's one of the biggest things that I'll tell you is that if you want to be successful inside this, you're working with many different types of clients. Understand the different communication paths, adapt to texting, different things like that. So think about that. Almost 70% of people don't want to meet with you. So when you meet with them, you got to use that time wisely and you got to get the value quick.
Yeah. And the question is, why don't they want to meet with us, right? It's what is actually going on? Well, it's actually quite obvious. And we continue to engage in it, which is the big mystery, which is ultimately mind-boggling to us. But it's basically buyer-seller misalignment. They're coming in and they want to solve their problems, right? And we as salespeople, we want to sell our stuff. We want to hit our quota. We want to reach our goals, get our commissions, ensure that we're looking good to management or to ownership. And this creates that wall of disconnect. There's a wall that's wedged right in between us that keeps us from being able to hear the other person, because I'm talking in ways of how to get you to do what I want you to do. And they're talking in a way of how do I get you to just help me do what I need to do to solve my problems. And if we can eliminate this with a trusted advisor approach, then suddenly we can start to get on the same side of the table and eliminate this wall.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one thing I do want to mention, guys, if you have questions, comments, anything like that, of any of the information we're going out, plug it into the chat, send us a message. We'll take questions and all that stuff at the end, be able to answer anything that you guys have. So again, anything that you guys have, plug inside there. So when you look at the buyer-seller misalignment, I'm going to go off track just a little bit here because I'm going to take this into a book of business, right? So I can assume everybody in here has opportunities that are currently quoted that have not been awarded yet. And I'm going to take it one step further, that I'm going to assume that you don't have a date that the client has committed to make a decision by. You might have a date that you're going to call them back, but that you don't have a date that they're going to make a decision. And not that I'm going to take this back. You don't have a date that they need to make the decision by. That's what we're doing here. The clarity and confidence, right, in this process is getting the client clear on what's going on, what's the larger issue, and confidence inside knowing that when he says, yes, we do need to buy this, I am going to move forward with you, it's going to get them closer to their goal. That's the buyer-seller misalignment. If you have opportunities in your book of business right now that you do not have a potential close date, or I'll say a locked-in close date of when they're making a decision, this is the misalignment. They have a problem. They have a goal. You have a roofing proposal. Okay. You've probably delivered that proposal to them and they have not made a decision. Because David says it best, in the lack of information, people add their own stuff in. They make up their own information. And a lot of times it's not even good. It's bad. They fill it with bad stuff. So if you guys have that gap in your book of business right now, if you have proposals that are in your book of business that you have delivered that are currently in quoting and you do not have a confirmed close date, a date that the client is making a decision, go back in. You're not done. We've done halftime before, and I think we're going to do it again next week where we dive into an opportunity, but don't give up. Get back in there, get that clarity. All right, so I'm going to jump through this. So here's 3 reasons why proposals suck. And I'm going to call it out and say your proposals, because there's very few contractors that actually craft their proposal to be valuable to the customer. The proposal is mostly made up of terms and conditions, which is really kind of CYA, right? Make sure the client pays, what's payment terms, all that kind of different stuff. You have a scope of work, which in the simplest way is a bunch of jargon of what you guys are going to do. And then you have the client's name and a spot to sign. Very rarely do I ever see proposals that have truly the connection between the client's problem or goal and how you guys are going to get there. Let alone, we talk about those 3 check boxes, positioning yourself as an expert. So we're going to go through that today. How do you position yourself as an expert? But poor discovery creates prospect confusion, which means if you guys are not going out there and you guys are not asking the right questions, when you guys get to the end, if you guys remember the 2 degrees of separation that we talked about, you guys are going to end up inside different places. Dave, you want to take us through buyer's intent?
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, we have a few people that have, if you raise your hand using the little icon, I'll chat with you guys and I'll get your questions answered there. So go ahead and go over to the chat and that'll help you guys. I can get you guys answers to whatever it is that you've got. Okay. All right. So what is buyer's intent? We look at this wall of disconnect. Well, what are they actually intending to do? What are we intending to do when we're looking to buy something, right? We somehow think that they're these mythical unicorns that we don't understand. Well, we're actually buying stuff all the time too, guys, right? Buyers intend to find a solution to the actual problems causing enough pain and keeping them from important outcomes. Okay. It's as simple as that. This is all they're trying to do. Right. But you guys got to realize our solution is only relevant if it attaches to, hold on, go back one. Our solution is only relevant if it attaches to the actual problems that they're dealing with that are causing enough pain to make them want to take action and keeping them from the outcomes that they want. So when we just pitch our stuff, like Chad said, when we just pitch our stuff and it doesn't have context to the broader conversation that's going on in their minds, we end up screwing up. Okay, so this is their intention. Well, what's our intention as trusted advisors? Not as salespeople, not as people slinging their stuff, not commodity salespeople, right? Well, we intend to help them find a solution to solve the actual problems causing enough pain, keeping them from important outcomes. And what we've seen time and time again is the salespeople that actually get in and get on the same side of the table, as I said before, and actually take people through a process that allows them to outline what this stuff is, because they're not clear, because they're bad buyers, and that's why they're bad buyers. You will end up winning business more often than not. And they will tell you, Chad, we love hearing this from our guys, right? You're our guy. You're our guy. As soon as you hear, you're our guy, repeat business is going to come in left and right. This isn't about just getting the first sale. It's about landing a client and growing that account over the long term, because you've established a position of authority. You've established a position as a trusted advisor who they come to seek out help when they have issues.
Awesome.
Completely different frame.
100%. So David, you said it best. You get on the same side of the table of them, right? It's one thing to have a client, a prospect asking you questions, and you're gearing up for a response that's going to make them want to buy something from you, right?
Yep.
It's not what we're trying to get. We're not trying to get them to buy something from us. What we want is we want a relationship. Unless you want to hunt every day for the rest of your life and you only eat what you kill today. Some people are great hunters. That's great. But if you want to build a big book of business, if you want to have millions of dollars of like reoccurring revenue clients and preventative maintenance and all this kind of different stuff, you got to change the way you guys are going after it. You're not going to be able to just go out there, hunt for a big contract, sell it, and then go hunt for another. One, it's hard. Two, it's expensive. And three, it requires you every day, day in and day out, to be in the field looking for new clients. When you sit on the same side as the table and you start helping them, they start coming to you to help solve problems, not to fix roof leaks. I had a relationship with a massive entity that was called a super contractor. And anytime that water would show up on the ground, they called me. And it didn't matter if it was HVAC, if it was brick, it didn't matter what it was. They expected me to be able to define what the issue is. They would pay for it. Not that I would fix it and I would own any of that stuff to it, but I had such a great relationship that I actually got a call before anybody else, and they paid me no matter what, just because they trusted what we brought to the table, right? We were so consistent. Our communication was there. It was that whole experience that I'm going to be their trusted advisor to make the best decision for that asset. That's where you guys want to get. The professional buyers are hard to work with. The professional buyers will continue to be able to commoditize you, which means shop you against your client or your other contractors, your competition, and saying, okay, well, they're doing this, they're doing this. Well, my price is lower. Can you get lower? That's commoditizing you guys. That's not allowing you guys to be able to have a very unique value, right? That can't be matched by anybody else. That's what we're trying to do. Help the client get to the goal, right? Not sell them a product or service. So everything we've talked about here, guys, it's not a dream. It's made. It's here. David and I have worked on this for years together. And what it ultimately is, the buyer's action plan. And we go through a set of questions, which we'll do real quick here. And it comes down to 3 check boxes. Checkbox number 1, do they actually need to act? Is the problem big enough that they need to spend money to be able to fix it? I've given tons of different examples inside the past of clients who have roof issues, but have zero interest or reason to be able to fix the roof. It's real. It happens. Trust me. It's in your book of business right now. Number 2 is, do they actually need outside help? So when I say outside help, are they looking for someone to be able to come in and fix the problem? Or are they looking for someone to tell them what to do? Can't tell you how many times I've delivered a proposal for replacing fasteners, and I know that guy goes up on the roof and does his own work. Well, I can't necessarily say I guarantee I'm going to get the work, especially if he's doing the work himself. And then number 3, which we'll dive in deep today, is, do you guys have the best solution? As a trusted advisor, you need to have multiple presentations for every product or solution that you deliver that makes you guys an expert in doing that. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get further toward the end. You want to take us through the 3 check boxes, Dave?
All right. So you're going to go through, you're going to set the agenda, establish leadership position, guys. As always, just quick recap. Then you're going to say you're busy. If you're talking with me, there's a problem you're trying to solve or goal you're trying to achieve, which is it? And that's their objective. And boom. Okay. Who's responsible for solving this problem? Who has the authority to solve this problem? What's your process for typically solving problems like this? Who's involved, etc. Then from there, what have you already tried to do to solve this problem, and why hasn't it worked at the level needed? Because if it did work at the level needed, we wouldn't be talking. So then you figure out where their vulnerabilities are, where their lack of confidence is. If this continues not to be solved, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? And then we're into priority and urgency. We want to probe a couple of times, and then boom, we hit them with a scale question, 1 to 10. So then rate this for me on a scale of 1 to 10. How much of a priority is this for you guys to get done after you've gotten the pain, right? And if it's a 7 or lower, probably not the best opportunity. You can then talk about that and potentially disqualify it. If it's a 6 or lower, for sure. But you want it in that 8, 9, or 10 range, especially 9 or 10. And then if you've got them there, if the emotion is revved up, then you know they're qualified. They're going to take action. Now we just need to see what action are they going to take. All right. Then we move to the second checkpoint. okay, what is the real problem that they're actually suffering from? Remember, they don't know what the problems are. What are the bigger problems that they're experiencing? If those problems did get solved, what are the expected outcomes? A lot of times this is opportunity cost, right? We can calculate ROI based on saved product, recovered productivity, et cetera, et cetera. And then once we understand a dollar figure there on the expected outcomes, we can get into typical budget because now we have a number to bump up against instead of you just asking, hey, what's your budget? So I can keep my number in and around that and charge you as much as possible without you saying no, right? That's a different way to ask budget. We actually get to budget now 9 times out of 10 with this format. And then from there, why haven't you guys been able to solve this on your own? Now that you know the problems, now that you know the opportunity cost of everything, then from there, we hit them with the 1 to 10 scale. On a scale of 1 to 10, then how capable do you think you are to solve this without outside help? We want a 4 or lower, and that 4 or lower answer makes the paves the way for they're going to take action, and they're going to take action with an outside vendor. So now we've eliminated all the noise, and now we just know it's between us and the competition. We're not worried about anything else. We're not worried about them not taking action. We're not worried about them taking our proposal and giving it to their guys. Now we just know we can deliver a solution presentation that guards and protects us against the competition, elevates us against the competition. We should be able to win the business more often than not. And we do that through proven results. Here's what we've done, who we've done it for, and how good we are in the past, because our past is the greatest predictor of our future. Then from there, we give a very clear solution presentation, not a bunch of jargon, not pages and pages of confusing literature, if you will, that they're not going to be able to comprehend. And then from there, delivery and timelines. And we take them through the confirmation close to ultimately ask them, now, do we have the best solution? A very direct question where we're looking for an answer. Bingo, right. Bango. Awesome. So David went through this quick. And if you guys are just joining in and this is one of your first sessions with us, this is an 8-week series and we went through most of all of this. So if you guys don't have it, all you have to do is shoot me an email. We have the buyer's action plan completely outlined, guys. There is nothing that you guys have to recreate, and there's nothing that you guys have to pay. I will send this to you at no cost, as long as you guys promise to start asking the questions. That's why we're here. All of these questions have been very strategically placed where they're at. They've also been strategically written so they can be a conversation. That's what this is about, is being a trusted advisor and being inquisitive, right? I've always had the point, and David was really the one that kind of helped me get out there, is that when I walked into someone's office, my first question was like, why the hell am I here? That was my first question. Like, honestly, 10 years ago, that was my question. Why does someone want to sit down with a roofer? Something has to be horrible for you to take time out of your day to want to sit down with a roofer. That was me, guys. Like, that was me walking into the office. And we've taken that and we've evolved it into, okay, when people sit down with me, it's typically a problem or a goal. I doubt you called me in here because you want to make a friend. What is it? What's going on, man? So we've evolved every one of these questions from where it started 10 years ago to where it is today. And it's in every one of my conversations, guys. If you have went through a sales process with me, with any of my products, it's my first question I ask. Talk to me. What's going on in your business, man? What's the problem or goal that you guys are trying to achieve where I might be able to add value? It's no different for you guys. Take the questions, utilize them. And if you want more information on this, again, tag David or I, we'll send this over to you. The only thing that we both ask is that you guys utilize it. Take it to there. Because what you're doing and the reason you're doing all of this is because you are making the perfect buyer's journey, okay? This is not just for you guys. So we talk about qualification or disqualification because as you continue to be able to, let's just say, increase your close ratio, that's going to happen. I can promise you, you will increase your close ratio. But what you also need to do is understand how to disqualify people, because there are people that do not check these 3 boxes. That's why it's so important to be able to ask these questions, because do they actually need to act? If you guys go out there, accept every opportunity that your phone rings or an email that comes in, you guys are going to do nothing but deliver proposals and hope that someone calls you while you're delivering your next proposal. That's not lead nurturing. That's not client experience. That's like spraying proposals and hoping that you guys are either low dollar or the right place at the right time.
That's not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy, guys. Check the boxes, right? Do they actually need to act? If not, I have gotten many relationships with telling the client, hey, I don't really think this is a big enough issue that you guys need to do something about it. And they've came back and they've said, you know what? I disagree. I think we do. And it starts the whole conversation again. And now I'm on the opposite side. He's selling me, telling me why he needs it. So that whole conversation piece is what's so key with this, guys. Do they actually need outside help? We all know the property or facility manager or maintenance manager that does the work himself. You know that because you can go up there and there's like 17 gallons of like asphalt cement that's been poured right on the roof. We all know that person, man. I don't want to work for that person. And he sure as hell doesn't want to pay me to clean up all of his mess that he made up there. And that's really what most of his proposal is, right? Is like taking the caulk off the fasteners or removing the asphalt cement that he poured on the metal roof. That's probably most of the expense. Disqualify him, guys. If he's not going to pay for you guys to be able to do your best work, because the last thing you want to be able to do is lower your price and cut corners simply to get the job, for him to be unhappy with the end result. Because again, that's a problem or a goal. What's the problem, right? The problem is that he's doing repairs and that they're not working, right? What's the goal? Help him get there. The ROI that David talked about, that return on investment, it's not the cost of the proposal. It's what the outcome of getting him to that goal is. And then finally, do you have the best solution? That means if you guys don't do vertical wall waterproofing, turn the job down. Don't go through the time of bidding something that you're not even sure that your team can produce or that you haven't bid inside the past. All of that just creates uncertainty. And anytime that I've ever been involved in estimating, uncertainty means a higher price, right? You just put more fluff in it because you're going to assume worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is that this is going to go wrong. This is going to go wrong. Our guys don't show up. It takes us longer because we get caught in traffic. All of those variables drive up cost, guys. So do your best work, price your best work, but also we need to know how to disqualify our customers, or our prospects, I should say, not our customers. We should know how to disqualify our prospects, because that's how you guys can truly increase your close ratio, do more work with the clients you have, kind of squeeze the juice out of the lemon, if you will, so you guys can have the best close ratio with using a proven method. This is how you get consistency in your sales. This is how you get consistency in your presentation. And even more importantly, this is your discovery, guys. Use it, take it. This is what's going to get you there. And the back part that I should have said right off the beginning, your client gets clarity and confidence from these. So you're asking these questions for your own, right, personal sake of saying, hey, am I even going to bid this job? But by the end of this, you and your customer wins. Your customer knows that they need to act. They know what the bigger problem is. They know that they need outside help. Why? Because you've asked the questions. You guys have led them to be able to answer the questions, sometimes the hard questions of just saying, so why don't you guys just do this yourself? When's the last time you had a salesman show up and ask you that question? Well, as soon as you answer that question, you're going to have value inside what they, well, because I work all day and I don't have time and da-da-da-da-da. You guys buy stuff every day. Pay attention to the sales processes that are happening around you and how it could have been different if they asked the right questions or followed what we're showing you guys here. All right, so we've talked a little bit about this, so I'm going to kind of breeze through it, but why your proposal sucks. So here's the second reason, is that your proposal doesn't cut through the noise. This whole time we've talked about that clients buy because they have a problem or a goal. So when you deliver a proposal that looks something like this on the right-hand side, they have no idea what they're looking at. They know their name, but as soon as they say you're going to tear off to the deck and dispose of the material and then install, 4 inches of, R30 or whatever it is, nobody knows that, guys. Your clients don't know that. Now, maybe some of your professional buyers do. So if you guys are challenging me, it's like, no, my client knows roofing. Well, I would call that a professional buyer, someone who actually knows what he's buying. But most of the clients that you guys are working with, they're going to you because they don't know. They don't do roofing. They didn't make their money and start their business in commercial roofing. If they did, they wouldn't need you. So when you guys show up, it's your responsibility to go from that commodity, I'm going to give you a proposal for what I want you to do, into here's how we're going to help you get to your goal. That's what a trusted advisor is. David said it inside the slide before, you're going to help them, right? So it goes south as soon as they look at the proposal and they have no idea what they're reading. most of the time, just FYI, I'm sure everybody knows this, no one reads it. They go straight to the price and then they back up.
Yep.
It's the first thing they do. They see this, they see all of this writing right here, and they're flipping. They're flipping until they see the price. And as soon as they see the price, then they work backwards to try to understand why it's cheaper. Because if they're cheaper, they're going to say, okay, what are they missing? I just want, because again, I got that shield up as a customer, right? I'm going to say, you know what? They're screwing me over. They're not going to do this. They're not going to do gutters. They're not going to put retrofit drains in. What is it that they're not doing? Now, everything I'm telling you, a customer would never know. Because again, I know roofing, the customer does not. So that's the hardest part. If you guys are trying to win business in the commodity world, it's hard, guys. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Because by the time you win the job, either A, you were low price, B, you didn't give up, which kick ass, hats off to you guys. You were the last one standing. Or C, you won it because you were at the right place at the right time. It's hard to win work on a commodity side. But if you were to be able to change your presentation, right? Change it and craft it to where your client actually had a way to be able to understand what they were buying. You don't rise to level your goals. So there are so many companies that I meet with that will give me goals, okay? They'll give me goals. They'll give me numbers of where they want to be. But when I look at their processes, no one knows what anybody's doing. The right hand has no idea what the left hand is doing. And at the end of it, I'm inside there just saying, how do you expect to hit $10 million when we don't even have a process, a sales plan? We've got lucky getting the jobs that we got. And if you guys have been a part of any business, scaling the business, there's a certain part at the beginning that's really easy. But once you got to go find new customers, that's when it gets hard. That's when you have to have that process to be able to duplicate it and start getting real information in there. So think about this, guys. You don't rise to the level of your goals. Nicest way, it's not even nice. I don't care what your goals are. Because if you have a $10 million goal and a $1 million system or process, guess where you're going to be? At 1 million. Now, if you have a $10 million process, it will come. You put the people in the place, you have the process there to go, but you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And as a sales rep sitting inside here, guys, if you don't have a system to be able to handle emails, if you guys don't have a system to be able to handle your on-site, your inspections, your presentations, window time is a killer. That's all a part of having a good system to be able to support your guys' success. So I'm going to take you guys through it, and we're going to do it real world. I'm going to share my screen so you can see everything that's going on, but I'm going to walk you through what you guys are going to see. So the first thing that we do is that you guys put all of this, you've asked all these questions, right? You have all of this information, and 99% of the time, I'll say 100% of the time, you guys deliver a proposal that has nothing to do with the conversations you had, the questions you asked, where do they get their budget, right? Who else is involved? That's if you're even asking these questions.
Right.
What it actually allows you to be able to do is have a shareable summary of what happened. That way we talk, again, complete alignment means that you and your customer have a complete understanding of where you are going. Complete alignment is not David and I having a sales meeting together and David saying, yeah, I want to be with you, right? I want to do work with you. I want to know where David wants to be, because even though David and I are on the same page right now, all I need is for someone to meet with David tomorrow, derail everything by telling him that he wants a liquid membrane or a foam system, right? And David is in the other world. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is getting with the customer and making sure that the end goal that they talked about of where they wanted to be is still the same. That's what this allows us to do, is to be able to share that meeting summary and even revert back to it before we deliver our proposal. So we take all the questions we asked and we throw them in there, right? Then we're going to take those guided decision-making sides, so those 1 through 10s. They're awkward. I'll tell you guys that, especially when I first got into it, is to say, all right, on a scale of like 1 to 10, how important is it that this gets solved right the first time? How important is it, right? So you're asking the questions that are going to lead to this. So when you start asking those, it allows them to be able to better understand it. Change is awkward. That's the only thing I can tell you guys. It's awkward. You got to get used to it. Once you get used to it, the data that it gives you and the ability to be able to go back to the client and repeat what he said, not only does he show, you're listening, but allows you to be able to have that complete understanding of like, I'm going to help you get there. All right. Number 3. So why your proposal suck. Number 3, solution presentation is inconsistent. That means that you guys are not doing a great job at delivering yourself or presenting yourself as an expert in that specific situation. So if I go and I want to buy something, I expect whoever I buy from, if it's a service side, for them to be an expert inside whatever they're working on. I don't care if they're working on the washer and dryer. I don't want to hire someone that is a refrigerator repairman and have him come work on my washer and dryer at the house. I know I'm giving you bad examples, but they're real examples, guys. You want an expert. You want someone who knows how to fix your problem. You want someone who has proven facts that are going to help you get to where it is based upon proven results and a methodology, right? What is it that makes me better? What is it that makes me unique? So, guys, get this? You guys understanding why the typical proposal is not good enough? Why the typical proposal is not going to allow you guys to differentiate yourself from every other contractor? It's because every other contractor, guys, is delivering the same proposal that you are. I love all of these different CRM systems out there. They're great. They do amazing things. But when I have 3 contractors that are using the same technology and the proposals come out, guys, you're side by side. There's nothing different. Your price is on page 3 the same as their prices on page 3. A lot of times your deficiencies might be exactly the same. And when you can start comparing deficiencies based upon price, that's not value. That's what we're trying to get. We're trying to get to a point to where you guys can sell on value and being an expert and a trusted advisor that's going to help them get to their goal, where you guys are looking at the larger issue. It's not the puncture in the roof, right? It's not the leak that's coming in the ceiling tiles. It's what all of that water is going to do to the business. That's the return on investment. David, anything you want to add to this before we jump into the workspace?
No, I think you nailed it. Let's do it. Make sure we have enough time for questions afterwards. And
awesome. So I'm going to bring you guys into real world. So I'm going to show you my entire desktop. Sorry, not sorry, but we're going to jump through this, right? So you're going to come inside here and you're going to go into your 45 workspace. So you go to 45, you log in. Once you log in, you guys are going to be able to ultimately see this entire workspace that you have. So I'm going to exit out of this one. Let me do this. Dun, dun, dun. So you'll see how easy it is to be able to access it. I literally just click the button. I'm already in. So I'm going to log into my No Reps Left Behind login. I have all of my sales calls, everything that's already started up right here. Now, all the questions that we showed you on that PDF, guys, you can do this many different ways. But at the end of the day, as long as you ask the questions and have the data together, that is what matters. Because again, we're doing this for our customer. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click New Sales Call. When I click New Sales Call, I'll have a couple different ways of being able to log information. Now, right here, I only have commercial roofing, but we have them for commercial roofing. We have them for repairs and maintenance. We have them for preventative maintenance. They're all questions that we have basically perfected, that if you guys are going into, let's just say, a preventative maintenance discovery meeting, there's a specific set of questions that you need to ask, proven questions that have been weighted out. And I'll say, I guess, kind of weeded through in my side to be able to say, hey, this is what I would consider best practice. So I'm going to choose my form, commercial roofing. I'm going to open it up, and it's going to ask me the same exact questions that you guys saw on that PDF. So what's the client's name? What's the client's email, organization name? Is the decision maker present? Yes, he was. Now, how many was there? Well, there's a board of 3 or 4 people. You guys are now documenting this entire sales call with a notes tab on the right-hand side to be able to type whatever you want, right? So here's all your notes over here. So here's the kickoff. I'm going to run through some questions, and our goal today is to define the exact issues you guys are dealing with and create a solution that aligns you to your goals. Does that sound good? All right, cool. So when people take the time to sit down with me, they usually have a problem that they're trying to solve or a goal they're trying to reach. Sound familiar, guys? We literally just went through this. So what is it? You guys have drop downs. You can choose. We have leaks and we can't seem to stop it. It's causing issues with our business. You can literally just click it. It automatically fills it up. If you guys want to type your own stuff there, that's fine. Go for it. Question 2, who's responsible for solving the problem? All of these questions, guys, are here for you guys to be able to type in all of the answers. So I'm not going to go through every one of these, but I'm going to promise you, type 3, what are you guys currently doing to solve the problem? Okay, why do you think that isn't working? All of this is already outlined. We also have probes inside here, which means if the client doesn't understand the question. So as far as you can see, what's the worst thing that's going to happen if the problem isn't solved or you don't get to your goal, right? So, okay, I'm not really sure. What do you mean? Well, what if the problem's not fixed correctly the first time? Or what if you go with someone else and their solution fails, right? And you got to relive the situation again. What does that mean to you? Not in the cost of having to hire a different roofer. What's the impact to the business? What's the impact when you guys spend the money to be able to fix it? You put your building back to normal, you paint the walls, fix the ceiling, and a leak come back the next time it rains. This helps you and guide you guys to be able to ask the right questions and to be able to do it in a consistent pattern where I'm going to show you, it's going to give you an instant workspace. Remember your 1 to 10 scale, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this as a priority? So what type of impact is this going to have on your business, right? So again, you can click those, you can rate on wherever it is. Are you guys using any other vendors? What do you think some of the root causes on? So on and so on. So all of the questions that we outlined here are all right here, guys. So I'm going to show you what happens. Now I'll do it on this one so you can see it work in real time, but obviously we don't got amazing data. I'm going to click Save and Launch Workspace. What it does is automatically create a URL for me right up here. And it allows me to be able to have a workspace that I can share with the customer. So now I can come down here and you see the objective that I filled out. What's the objective, right? Why do we met down? Well, I knew that you guys said that you were having roof leaks and you couldn't seem to stop them. Everybody following me here? This is allowing us to be able to create a unique platform, a URL that you can literally just share with them. And it allows them to have a completely different buying experience, a buying experience that isn't shifted specifically on them buying your product or service, right? We're going to turn this into a solution. And when you get everything put together, I'm going to show you a workspace right here. And David, while I load this, anything you want to add, sir?
No, I think it's the clarity of realignment that's also big too. Your ability to bring people back together, say, okay, so this is what we talked about. Are we still on the same page? What changed? Oh, I forgot to tell you this. Oh, that person that was out sick comes back into the process or comes into the process. Here's where we're at. What would you change? Instead of having them torpedo everything because now all of a sudden they're misaligned on everything that's going on and they don't understand, right? That alignment, going back to buyer's intent, is so key. Before we actually present our solution, we need to get recalibrated to what are the actual problems causing enough pain and keeping them from their outcomes. That's what this does. And it keeps everybody aligned in a way where your prospects don't have to burn a bunch of calories to figure out what they need to do and why they need to do it.
Yep. So you said an awesome part inside there. So this is a way to be able to bridge the gap, right? We're bridging the gap between why are we giving this proposal? What is this proposal for? And when someone swaps out, sometimes, guys, that's the best possible thing that can happen, especially if I have someone who's a stall, right? That's like stalling, the job went slow, they reassign it to somebody else. You at that point are the most capable individual to bring that new person in up to speed on what's going on, especially if you've asked these questions. So you can step back in and just say, hey, here's what I've worked with Mark on. Here's where we're at right now. This is what we're working on the process. And you come in and literally can just blow his mind on the reasons that they're doing it, the return on investment, what's the worst case scenario if something was to go wrong. It's absolutely amazing when you have good data on how you can take advantage of those situations. All right, so here's what we're gonna run with, guys. Here's the workspace. So when you come in, it is a unique URL, which means you guys could copy, paste this, send this to anybody, right? So you can send this to your client. The coolest part about this is your client can send it to his boss. He can send it to anybody else. They can share it with anybody. Okay, this isn't a proposal that's via email that once you send the email, you only know if you open the email and then it's done. This is with something where you guys can actually see how far it's going, how many people are viewing the workspace, how active it is. We'll show you what that looks like inside a sec. So here's what you got. You got your workspace, it's customized, right? So this was a real client that we worked with back in the early 2000s or early 2020. Going down here, we have a problem canvas. And the way you present it is just say, hey, I want to just make sure that everything we spoke about originally is still the same. So I know you guys said that you have neglected roof leaks for over 2 years because of some of the stuff going on with COVID. and you're looking to get it back up to a serviceable condition. Are we still good there? Yeah, we are. Okay. So you also said the responsibility. We talk about current reality. So what I'm doing is I'm repeating everything back to him that he told me to ensure that I have complete alignment on why he is buying what he's buying. This is a part where I become a advisor to him, because what I'm doing is repeating back to him, bringing reality back into the mix, right? Because if he's just in like receive proposal mode, I'm going to break that chain. I'm going to break that process. I'm going to say, all right, here's current reality, authority, pain, cause. Is all this right? We talked about the return on investment means reducing the leaks will allow the surgery rooms to be open without the health risk of leaks coming in from the asphalt system above. Is that still the main objective, still return on investment to be here? If they say no, guys, that's a good thing. Yep. Because it allows you to be able to realign yourself with the customer before you give them a proposal. Everybody in here, if you have been in roofing for over probably 2 years, have went into a situation where you delivered a proposal and you lost the job, and the guy who won the job had a completely different scope of work, different system, different installation method, half the price, and you're just blown out of the water saying, we never spoke about that. This is why. You need that complete alignment to be able to understand why and what your customer is buying. So you have the ability to be able to revisit all of the questions that you asked. You then have a priority level, right? So we talked about this. I know you said the priority level was an 8, and I consider that a high priority level. Is it still an 8 to you on a scale of 1 to 10? And your ability level was a 2, being that you had nobody here to be able to get up on the roofs and be able to fix it. Is that still accurate? Reconfirm that information, because again, we're bringing reality back into the mix. If something has changed between the time you met with him and the time you're delivering the proposal, abort, guys. Do not deliver the proposal. Do not give them something that they can disqualify you or choose not to go with you, especially if the game has changed, if the rules have changed. Don't deliver it. So you can add a video inside here. So this is a video that I made, and ultimately I said, hey guys, welcome to the workspace. You know, this is a little bit unique. Here's how you can use it. And I actually explained to the customers how to use the workspace. They can share it with anybody and kind of go through what we're going through here. Now, here's the cool part, the solution roadmap. So checkbox 3 was all about positioning yourself as an expert, right? Do you have the best solution? So what we've done is create a way for you and every sales rep in your company to have insanely consistent delivery of your guys' presentation. So the way we do that is we have a process, right? We call it, it's a long form, and it answers questions in a story mode. So what it allows you to be able to do is talk to the client about your business, right? Because remember, the whole front side of all this discovery was all about him. Now what we're going to do is we have all of this information. I'm going to tell you why we are the best solution to be able to fix this. And it goes a little something like this. We promise to fix your leaks so you can focus on what really matters. That's why we're in business, right? We exist because of 3 primary reasons. Facility managers tolerate roof leaks. You guys shouldn't have to do that. And we want to change that. Construction is one of the worst in customer experience, communication. We know that contractors are not great, but ultimately the roof is one of the primary assets for security, right? Wind, water, rain, all of the elements. The roof is typically one of the first ones that takes a beating with all of this. And that's why we're here, to be able to protect that. So our clients, or success with us, when our clients work with us, success typically looks like fewer leaks and fewer disruptions in the buildings, because we can proactively find solutions. We have budgets that we give to you guys that actually work. And ultimately, we provide peace of mind because you have control of what those budgets are and what and when you should spend them. Working through on this, it allows you to be able to, we have a proven track record of success. Right. So when we talk, I know you have a lot of roof leaks that are out there. We have fixed over 1,800 in 2021. 99.56% of leaks have been fixed the first time. And we are a top 100 contractor. So if you guys have noticed something, like in me, so I'm breaking script here. If you guys have noticed something, I have done nothing but just repeat what's right in front of me. And this is the beautiful part about having a professionally scripted long form, is that you guys, it doesn't matter if it's you, it's me, it's the owner, it can be anybody. You don't even have to be there. Your client can literally read this and understand exactly what makes you guys unique. Now, here's the thing.
And then one thing I'd say on that, guys, is you're going through that section. It's a simple talk track. Chad, I know you've probably worked with roofers or other contractors where you found out that they didn't quite know what they were doing after it was too late.
Oh, without a doubt.
The only reason why we're putting this together here and showing you this is it's just so you know, we've been there, we've done that, we've gotten these results, and you don't have to worry about that. Right? It's like, be all out in front with it. There's a reason why we're giving them all of this information. So just be forthright with it. I know you've probably found out too late. You tell them that this is why we did it. Okay, great. Now I understand. You're not bragging about yourself. You're just helping me understand that you guys have been there and done that, and I can expect the same results.
Yes. Yes. This is what makes you guys unique.
Yes.
Right? My job when I was working within these companies was to be able to create a process where we can bring sales reps in and we can guarantee their success. That was one of my primary roles, guys. In order to be able to grow revenue, you have to increase sales, right? I can only squeeze so much limit out of our existing clients. That is ultimately what this is. It's a way for me to be able to ensure it doesn't matter if it's Tom on the West Coast, if it's Brad on the East Coast, or wherever you're at. We have a consistent way of delivering our product. We have a consistent way of being able to show how we are an expert and give the client, again, clarity and confidence that they're making the right choice. This isn't just Tom's general, roofing, Tom's roofing that's coming out here. You're talking to a contractor that has a proven methodology to fixing roof leaks, and I got metrics to be able to back it. That's what we're doing here, guys. We're telling a story. David said it best, it's a talk track. Right? I would present this and I'm just reading what's here. So giving this to your sales reps allow them to be able to have an extremely consistent way of delivering so that when they get to the end, there's 3 questions that need to be asked. We call it the alignment checklist. And I'm going to uncheck these so you guys can see what they look like. So when you come down to the end of this, I have not delivered a proposal yet, guys. So, all right. So now that we went through all of this, do you have any questions on what makes us, best in class, recognized, No, we don't. All right, cool. So I got 3 questions for you guys. Are we still aligned to the actual problems causing the current or avoidable pain? Are we clear on how we solve those? That's literally the presentation we just went through, right? So that's my question. Are we clear? Are you guys know why I'm an expert at solving roof leaks? Are we still aligned to the actual things that are going on? Yes, we are. You literally click the box, it turns orange. All right, my second question, are we still aligned on the expected outcomes if those problems were to be solved? Is the return on investment still sufficient, right? Is the problem still big enough that you guys actually need to act and do something about it? Yes, yeah, no, we know we need to do this. All right, cool. So are we the right solution to solve your current problems and get you to those desired outcomes? Do you guys feel that we're the right company to be able to do that? Yes, we are. Now, if they say no, or they say, I don't know, we've been kicking it back and forth, that's okay. But again, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not deliver the proposal, because if there is something that you guys don't have right yet, that is okay. That is actually great, because you do not want to deliver a proposal. You do not want to turn all of the power, all of the work, everything that you guys have done over to the customer if they do not have clarity and confidence that you guys are the best contractor to be able to do the work. So once you click all 3, this does trigger it in a leadership dashboard within the system. But guess what, guys? Your next step, let's view the report. Let's view the proposal. Let's go through it. There's a lot of cool stuff that we can do. So again, I click the proposal. It loads it just like it would within any system. I'm not going to share the proposal on here, but it would load that proposal. And then we'd be able to talk about the specifics of what we would do as a roofing contractor. What I'm talking about here, guys, is being a trusted advisor. I'm talking about getting the right information up front. I'm talking about disqualifying the customers that are kicking tires and not going to buy your product, so you can focus your time on where you truly need to be, which is in front of the clients that need your work and are going to appreciate you and ultimately buy from you because you help solve problems. Anything you want to add, David?
Nope. I think that's ultimately the crux of it, guys. You have a differentiated solution. You have a differentiated experience. You have a differentiated story and narrative all on one page. You have tracking, like Chad said, we're tracking the views on this page. It's awesome to see when that number kind of stays flat a little bit. And then all of a sudden you see it go from like 5 to 12. It's like, oh, okay. They're talking about this. They're about to make a decision. And we just happen to reach out during that time period, right? There's a completely different frame to approach sales in terms of the approach and the technology that we are giving you guys. We just encourage you guys to use it.
100%. Now, there are variables to this, guys. The one thing, it does take more time to do it. There's no doubt about all of this. It's much easier to be able to sling proposals. But if you truly want to increase your average sale price, if you want to increase your close ratio, I'm going to encourage you guys to spend time with the people that are actually going to buy. This is how you increase your close ratio. This is how you get larger contracts, is you help create clarity of the customer's larger issue that you guys are solving. That's proven. Cool. David, do we have any questions or anything we want to go over?
Nope, nothing came through on the chat today. I think we're good. I addressed a couple of quick questions that were simple and easy, but other than that,
all right.
Unless anybody's got anything for us with the 2.5 minutes that we have left, we're happy to dive in and give you guys any specific clarity on how all this is applied.
All right. So if you got anything, tag it in, guys. I'm going to end with those last 2 minutes, just talking a little bit more about make sales work. So David and I have been working obviously on No Reps Left Behind for several months at this point right now. It's been awesome on how many people it's reached and just kind of what it's done to the industry as a whole. David and I are ready to be able to take that next step. And it's always been inside his and my plan to be able to create a mastermind. Ultimately somewhere where we can take the next step. We can focus on not just sales training like we're doing here, but taking it further, right? And getting in more into that people leadership side, getting more into the operational strategy of, how does a company go from 50 to 100 million? It's not luck. It's not hope. There's an operational strategy behind how they're going to get there. And those are some of the things, some of the secrets, some of the different areas that we're going to cover. And it's going to be really cool as we start to roll it out, because making an impact in the industry, as I said, is kind of my overall why, or my goal of what I'm trying to do. And this is a massive part of it. So keep an eye out, guys. Next couple of weeks, we'll be rolling some stuff out. I do got some things coming from roofingcontractor.com. So if you're a part of any of those networks, you'll probably see some stuff rolling through, or reach out. I'd be happy to talk to you guys one-on-one, kind of what it is, and go through kind of our own discovery call to make sure you guys are going to get to the goals or the vision of what you want the company to be. So we're right at 3 o'clock. David, anything you want to close out with, sir?
Nope. We are here to help you guys. That's why we're doing all this. So take advantage of it as much as you possibly can. Those that do are seeing the benefit and they're seeing the improvement in their results. Don't just attend and feel good about it. Get active, get engaged.
There we go. Go kick ass. Ask the questions. Ask the questions. I know it's awkward, guys. Ask the questions. It'll help. Bigger contracts. You'll get better sales. Your close ratio will go up. I promise you. Just do it. All right, guys. Have a good one. Thanks.
See you guys.